Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and today we are looking at the move Stockpile. A lot of people have liked the idea of me reviewing moves instead of actual Pokemon, and why not Stockpile? It's the Verlisify move. It's my favorite move, it's one of the strongest moves in the game, and it's Stockpile. I just love Stockpile. Got to talk about Stockpile. I can talk about Stockpile, well, not all day, because there's kind of only a couple things to talk about, but Stockpile is incredible. So, when Pokemon introduced Stockpile, I think they had like a really cool idea behind it. You give it to a tanky Pokemon, or you give it to a Pokemon that's generally going to be bulky, have some meat on its bones, and it's going to stockpile those stats. It's going to try to hold on to them, and then it can either use them offensively or defensively with Swallow or Spit Up. Swallow and Spit Up are actually strong moves. The problem is that the stats that Stockpile gives are just a little stronger well, not a little, a lot stronger to keep a hold of instead. So if you look at Swallow per Stockpile heals 25%, 50%, and then 100%. So you can get all of your health back by using a 3 Stockpile. And then using Spit Up does 100, 200, and 300 damage. It has great damage output and great healing potential, but at the same time, it does give you +1 special defense and +1 defense for using it. Which means your defenses are going up by 50%, then they're doubling. Yeah, they're going like you're going to have 150%, 200, and then 250% of your defenses. So you're really going to become an incredibly tanky mofo, and a lot of Pokemon that get access to Stockpile are tanky Pokemon that are incredibly tough to deal with under circumstances normally. And then they get Stockpile, which means now they have over double their defenses. And it only just takes a couple of turns of setup. The only other move I can think of that lets you boost your defense and special defense is Cosmic Power, and a lot of Pokemon that get Cosmic Power are Psychic types that don't have too much bulk. There are a couple of exceptions to the rule, but generally Stockpile is the tank move. And since I am the tank Pokemon battler, it's just a perfect move in my opinion. You gain both defenses, and that's about it. The only drawback is you can only use it 3 times. You can't infinitely do it all the way to 6 and never take damage. You can only use it 3 times, but even then, the Pokemon that get access to it are very, very strong with just those 3. So there's a lot of things that work with Stockpile. And then the Pokemon that get it, they can each do their own kind of crazy thing with Stockpile. They can use it for their tankiness. Drifblim, I really like Drifblim because you can baton pass it, and everything just keeps going in the Pokemon's favor when they can get stockpiling. It's just really awesome. And that's all I can really say, is that stockpiling is too cool and too awesome, and just a very strong move. And now, I do want to talk about the top 10 Pokemon that get Stockpile. This is kind of like my little surprise, because I'm the Stockpile king. I've used pretty much every Pokemon that has Stockpile just to find out which ones are incredible and which ones are okay. So, with that, let's start off with number 10, Garbodor. I say Garbodor is a very strong Pokemon with Stockpile. He also has the Curse Amnesia, which I feel is kind of the other option to Stockpile on quite a few Pokemon, and it's still really cool. But with Garbodor, he can use Stockpile, he has the potential of setting up with Power Up Punch and Gunk Shot, and then he can use Rest to heal up. So he has a lot of things that can make his utility very good, and it's just, he's an alright Pokemon because of Stockpile, even though a lot of people look at him and just be like, no. Also, Eviolite Trubbish does work as well as Garbodor. Number 9, Hippowdon. Hippowdon's a pretty strong Sandstorm setup Pokemon that a lot of people use, and he's just a very good bulky Pokemon. He uses Stockpile, and he can use it very well. So, way to go, Hippowdon. You're just a cool guy. Sand Hippo. That's awesome. Number 8, Torterra. Torterra is a Pokemon that, again, it's really useful Pokemon on its own. It sees some play. It can be a kind of frustrating Leech Seed setup Pokemon, but he also gets Stockpile, has good defenses, and it's pretty much going to be the same thing. Pokemon has good health, good defenses, can become a strong Stockpile user, and has his own little thing that makes it work for him. Hippowdon sets up Sandstorm. Garbodor has his poison typing that he can work around with, and Torterra can set up Leech Seed. And it's just really nice that with his amount of sustain. Here's a Pokemon I haven't talked about. Number 7, Walrein. Walrein, he gets Stockpile, and he also gets Sheer Cold. One of my funny ideas I had for a setup was pretty much using Stockpile and then trying to see if you hit or whiff on 8 sheer colds. Now, that's a pretty cheap strategy, but if you can set up with 3 stockpiles, you're going to be on the field for a while. Might as well just try to see how many KOs you can score before you go down. Then you can give him like Rest and Toxic or something as a fallback, and he can be a pretty hilarious Pokemon. Use a stockpile, pretty bulky, awesome in my opinion. He also gets Fissure, which means you have the option to just do stockpile, then you can do Rest, and then you have 16 chances with Fissure and Sheer Cold. My god. Number 6, Muck. Muck is a Pokemon I have reviewed, and he is a good stockpiler. He has a nice little toxic move pool. He can pretty much do the same thing as Garbodor, that power up punch into the Gunk Shot and just have good coverage overall. Black Sludge, Protect, he can do whatever he wants. Just a nice Pokemon, people don't see it coming, and it's just good to see it doing that much damage and being very useful because of Stockpile. Number 5, Cradily. Cradily will mess you up. He is a strong and good Pokemon that I've seen a lot of shenanigans go on. People have been using Stockpile Swords Dance with him, with Rock Slide and Recover. Cradily gets Recover. Recover! Now that's when we're talking some serious stuff. When a Pokemon has Stockpile and Recover, it saves the couple turns on Rest. It's nice if you just need a boost when in the middle of setting up, or if you're already set up. Then you can go and turn around some Swords Dance and a Stab Rock Slide. After not taking any damage, I believe one of his abilities is Storm Drain. So I mean, Cradily is ridiculous. So that's what we're talking about right now. Alright, number 4, Gastrodon. Now, Gastrodon is amazing. Again, he has Storm Drain, he has great health, great typing. He's only weak against grass. Now, and that's what we're talking about. When a Pokemon's only weak against grass because it has that magical water ground typing, so he's going to be really hard to hit, and then he can turn around some good coverage. He has Scald for damage, he can go Recover as well, Stockpile, all the good things. He has good hit points. Gastrodon's a strong Pokemon. Number 3, Numel. Numel Day, yo. It's a thing because Numel is incredible. The best stockpiler that has simple ability. What he does, or I think he's the only stockpiler with simple ability. What he does is he uses stockpile and it becomes twice as effective, which means he's getting sharp raises in defense and special defense, and he can max out his defenses with that 3 limit on stockpile. It also means he has the ability to howl his way to victory and get some insane stat boosts. So he can just set up, and then he also has Flame Charge, so he can get fast. And just the way that Simple works, everything that Numel does is going to benefit him in some way. His attacks are going to do something for him, like with Flame Charge. His Stockpile is going to do more. His Howl becomes a Swords Dance, and he just will start refusing to take damage. Also because he's a not evolved Pokemon, Eviolite. This guy is ridiculous, and it's just an amazing Pokemon. Also, one thing, Numel Day is originally December 8th. I'm wondering if I should change it to March 22nd, because Numel Day, March 22nd, Numel's number 322. I don't know. Number 2, Snorlax. This is my MVP right here. This is my hero. This is Snorlax. Snorlax, Stockpile, Belly Drum, sets up ridiculously fast, doesn't take damage. Then you can turn around a huge hitting Crunch. He has the Chesto Resto combo, and his ability is Immunity. You can't Toxic this guy down. All the other stockpilers, except for Muck and Gastrodon, they can get Toxic down. They have to worry about that. That's a legit thing that can just screw them over. You get Toxic, well, you're on a timer now. There's only so much you can do, but you're going down. Now, with Snorlax, he doesn't get Toxic. He's strong that way. He's also a very durable, huge hit point, bulky Pokemon, good defenses. Just the Pokemon right there. Number 1, Drifblim. Why is Drifblim number 1, some of you may ask? That is because this Pokemon is magical. He can give any Pokemon the ability Stockpile, because he has Baton Pass and Stockpile. He also has Minimize, and he also has Destiny Bond. Or he can have Substitute. This guy is ridiculous. So the idea, set up Minimize, set up Stockpile, huge hit points bulk, so he's going to be able to do it fairly well. Doesn't have the best defenses, but the Stockpile does boost that. Then you can get a substitute going. They're not going to be able to take down your substitute. And you baton pass. Now the Pokemon that you baton pass into has Stockpile, has Evasion, could potentially have a substitute, or if you don't want to run substitute, you have Destiny Bond. You can essentially just turn Drifblim into a sacrifice when he returns back onto the field, and maybe even trade a 1-for-1. Drifblim is ridiculous, and he, like I said, he's the Pokemon that gives other Pokemon Stockpile, which is just, I think, has to make him number 1. It's also a very good setup. If Stockpile plus Minimize plus Baton Pass plus Substitute. It's such a combination that is just ridiculous, and it's on a Pokemon that can actually make use of it. So he is number 1. Now I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talked a lot about Stockpile, talked a lot about stockpiling Pokemon, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.